Hello, and welcome to our discussion about designing targeted consumer research. My name is Sarah Thomas. I'm the Consumer Insights Manager at Camden BRI, and I'm joined by Robin Wilton and Dave Cole, who are both project managers within the Consumer Insights team. We would like to start by telling everyone a little bit more about our approach to identifying clients' research needs and building a study design that delivers robust evidence to satisfy them. Dave, would you like to open the conversation?
Typically, we start with a call on Teams or an email conversation to really understand the client's test requirements and scope out the design of the study to ensure we ask the correct questions about the key areas of importance to capture the right type of data for the purpose of the test. Listening to our clients, understanding their challenges, and the decisions they want to make as a result of the data we capture is so important to designing the right type of study for them.
In that first conversation, what are some of the areas you would typically cover when talking with a client?
The most important thing is to determine is the purpose of the research. What do they want to do with the results? For example, are the results being used to inform the next stage of product development or for validation of a final product? Is it to facilitate productive internal discussions with brand and marketing colleagues, data for presentations, to retailers, or claims for use on packaging and websites? The intended use of the results strongly impacts on the type of analysis required, the method of data collection, the types of questions asked, together with the type of number of people to recruit for the assessment.
Can you give me an example of where you conducted consumer research out of NPD or innovation activities?
If this was at the very front end of the NPD or innovation process, it would probably involve either creative focus groups and/or an intensive rapid prototyping process, utilizing a small number of back-to-back consumer groups for feedback on each new version, thus condensing several weeks or months of prototype creation and redevelopment into a series of days. More typically, companies will utilize creative focus groups to help kickstart the development process. For example, we did some work for a global brand where we engaged consumers in an activity to create smoothie recipes and prototypes using a combination of fruit and vegetable purees. As part of the group process, participants tasted and evaluated each other's creations, together with a couple of products currently on the market. The discussion also included an evaluation of the client's product concept and brand statement, as well as participants chatting about their ideal smoothie, motivations for purchase, and how this type of drink fitted into their lifestyle.
It's worth remembering that at the same time, many companies would also test their concept with a much larger pool of respondents, which represent their target audience, to get some feedback on overall appeal, relevance to lifestyle, believability in any claims or signature features, likely purchase intent, and frequency, using an online survey.
We are probably most well known for helping clients at the prototype or product validation stage of the NPD or innovation process, where several prototypes need to be assessed against current product and/or competitors in the marketplace. Or a client may be wanting to make cost savings by switching suppliers, but does not want to lose loyal customers by doing so. In these instances, a study would involve a taste assessment where the focus is on measuring consumers' liking of the product across all modalities, such as appearance, smell, flavor, mouthfeel, aftertaste, and overall liking. The liking questions are usually accompanied by diagnostic questions that focus on customer satisfaction of key attributes, such as level of sweetness and smoothness if it was for an orange juice, together with a measure of agreement to attributes such as naturalness of orange flavor, and finally purchase intent. Additional questions can also be built in, such as agreement to signature features, e.g. not too sweet but still a treat, i.e. for a kid's snack bar, and also responses to overall perceived quality or enjoyment of the product experience.
I think it is worth mentioning that most of the time these taste assessments are conducted on the product itself in blind conditions, i.e. no branding or packaging. Although there are occasions when a product needs to be assessed in context. For example, when assessing pasta or savoury mince, it's beneficial to serve it with a sauce. However, when you want to assess the impact of the brand, packaging, and/or concept information on product experience, an informed assessment follows the blind taste assessment. Most frequently, this is to assess the delivery of a brand or concept promise. In other words, does the product deliver on the taste promise communicated in the concept and/or against brand values? In this instance, a concept board or product image and description is shown to respondents together with the sample of the product. Respondents assess the product for liking, as well as delivery against concept message, key attributes, liking of purchase intent, and/or switch or additional purchase to core product.
Let's not also forget about our approach to sensory characterization and how it can provide clients with an in-depth understanding of how their products and associated attributes are perceived in relation to the competitive product set. This is a great technique that utilizes consumers' perception of key sensory attributes as identified and described by our trained sensory panel in relation to the set of samples. These results will how to identify discriminating attributes, i.e. the dominant appearance, flavor, texture attributes that may categorize the sample set. It also helped to identify the dominant attributes that are driving or prohibiting consumers' liking of sample sets. As part of the analysis, we will also consider these dominant attributes in relation to client samples. We can also produce a map of the samples showing their key characteristics and grouping by the use of correspondence analysis. And as part of the taste assessment, we would have captured the usual range of hedonics and likelihood to purchase. So the results also demonstrate how the client samples are perceived in terms of consumer liking and purchase intent in comparison to other competitor samples within the test sample set.
We've used this method to help clients reformulate recipes for core products and line extensions, as well as identify hero ingredients or attributes that can help to differentiate their product from competitors. The greatest benefit comes from understanding how your product and prototypes perform in relation to competitors in terms of perceived sensory attributes, identifying the must-have essentials and those which must be avoided. In the last 18 months, we've successfully applied this approach to feta cheese, coffee, jam, jelly, cheddar cheese, marmalade, soup, and chocolate.
So far, we've focused our attentions on those methods that capture consumers' perceptions and liking of sensory attributes through taste assessments. I think it's worth mentioning the tools we use for identifying the relative importance of key features and/or benefits of products for use at the early stages of product development, particularly good for kitchen and household equipment, as well as electrical appliances. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about the application of MaxDiff in an online survey and the benefits it offers to clients?
As you correctly said, Robin, MaxDiff is a technique that identifies the relative importance of key features, attributes, and benefits of a product. It can also be used to screen a range of potential on-pack claims to identify those which will be the most meaningful or important to consumers in relation to specific product contexts. The MaxDiff is built within an online survey and is completed by a large number of respondents, typically over 200. Prior to the assessment, a list of attributes and features is compiled and, if appropriate, grouped into areas of functionality. For example, when we use this technique to investigate a household appliance, 22 product attributes and features were identified and then categorized into 4 key functional areas, each of which were tasked with providing a design benefit for consumers. The results of the MaxDiff identified those design features that were most important to consumers relative to all features assessed. The results allowed the design team to prioritize areas of work with a clear functional benefit to deliver against. Because the study was was conducted across 3 different countries. The results were analysed for each country and then compared. We were able to demonstrate the cultural differences in terms of areas of shared priority for features across all 3 markets, as well as the difference of areas. This provided an additional layer of information for design and marketing teams so they could fine-tune their product features and benefit messages for each market.
So whilst we're discussing use of specialist techniques such as MaxDiff embedded within online surveys to help identify the relative importance of key product features, I think it's also worth mentioning the use of surveys to capture consumer attitudes to the use of alternate plant-based ingredients for sugar replacement, protein, and fiber enhancement, or for behavioral data in relation to product choices based on responses to health and nutrition, sustainability, and sensory claim information. Recently, we helped a client to identify the levels at which product breakage becomes unacceptable, considering the type and amount of breakage typically experienced by their product. A survey is a great tool for capturing consumer data on a large scale, internationally if required, to examine consumers' attitudes, preferences, motivations, and behavioral intentions to a range of contexts. Essentially, it always comes back to understanding what the client wants to achieve from a study, selecting the right method to deliver the analysis, and ask the right questions to the right people. We hope you have enjoyed listening to our discussion and have learned something about how we can help you in the future. Our approach is based on learning about your research needs and how you want to use the insights generated from the consumer research. From this starting point, we can create a design that works for you and delivers meaningful, actionable results. Myself and the team look forward to hearing from you soon. Our contact details are available with this recording. Thank you for listening.